What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. Speaking of RPG horror stories, how do you feel about DMs that are so exclusive and restrictive with their games, restricting some of the most fun parts of the game because balance, unfair, unbalanced, whatever. This DM just basically was like, you know what, anything that sounds kind of fun or any semblance of fun, we're just gonna go ahead and put it on a ban list. Let's go ahead and get to this story for today and figure out what exactly is going on with this DM that is going ban happy with the D&D content. DM creates an entire ban list of races, subclasses, and spells. I'm happy for storytime YouTubers to narrate this. This has no personal ties to me and wouldn't bring me to the attention of people I'd rather avoid. Not so much a horror story as it is a WTF moment, but my current group talked me into posting this. So this happened almost a year ago. I was scrolling Roll20 for a D&D campaign to join that was happening at a reasonable time, and not the ass crack of dawn or dead of night. Yay, time zones. I came across a campaign by a user whose name I will not mention because I don't want them getting picked on, with a pretty cool plot hook. The party grew up in an orphanage and are returning it to face some of their old memories and traumas. Great hook, awesome horror vibes, very Rule of Rose, a horror game by Atlas released in 2006. I'm already interested, but as I'm scrolling down for more details, I see the words banned races or species. I think to myself, oh, that's odd, but I guess that's understandable. Not every race is going to fit in a homebrew campaign. See image 1. And oh boy, are we gonna get to see image 1 together. I'm gonna have the full list here so I can properly look at it. I went ahead and zoomed it in. We have it updated over here for y'all to watch together so we can really truly enjoy and see the whole thing. Banned races or species. Bugbear, long limb trait, and surprise attack ability. So I'm guessing because the traits are listed here, that means maybe the DM specifically decided to ban them because of the specific traits that he doesn't like or things a little too cheesy, or maybe had a bad experience with the player exploiting these specific traits. At the end of the day, you can be pretty exploitive and cheesy with some of the bugbear traits, especially the long reach, especially if you grab something like Polar Master and then Sentinels, basically allowing you to stun lock enemies whenever they're in your reach, and then basically keep them stun locked around you forever, which I understand can be kind of cheesy, so sure, I understand the point for this. Arakakra, flying speed. I mean, okay, understand, or flying can be a little difficult to deal with some DMs, I understand. I don't mind it myself, but let's keep going. Triton, resistance to cold and fire, control water ability. Huh, I don't remember Triton having resistance to fire. I know they have cold, control water ability. Is that something they have in 2014 version? Is this an older version of Tritons? Yuan-Ti Pureblood, magic resistance, immunity to poison. Oh, they're probably using like an older version of D&D because up-to-date Yuan-Ti just have resistance to poison. Asthma Protector, Healing Hands, and Radiant Soul. I understand maybe Radiant Soul, but Healing Hands is a problem? Dude, Healing Hands is like one of the weakest heals that I've seen somebody have innately. Like, you could probably just get somebody up from death and just be able to at least give them a little bit of health. It's very, very underpowered. Asthma Scourge, Radiant Consumption, and Necrotic Resistance. What? Oh, okay. I guess resistances are just out of the game completely. Asimar Fallen, Necrotic Shroud, additional damage. So just no Asimar, basically. Tabaxi, feline agility and climb speed. You can't even have you can't have flying speed. You can't have climb speed. What's next? Swim speed? Is that gonna be banned? And listen, I understand like feline agility can be pretty powerful, especially if you give it somebody like a monk, but like Tabaxi kind of have this because they are supposed to be like pretty nimble, like book, you know, from one side to the other. But then, you know, there's a cooldown to it. It's pretty balanced. What are they gonna do? Ban monk and rogue because they have really good movement in general, and paired up that with the Tabaxi will probably be really good movement or something. Forbog, detect magic, disguise self, and speech with beast and leaf. They have those spells once a long res. Detect magic is just the most basic of basic spells. How is that on the list? And disguise self? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding, but I don't know how disguise self and dispel magic is so innocuously dangerous on this list that you have to ban it. Also, speech with beasts and leaf. It's not like they can just speak with plants and animals at all times. They can like do little mini communications, kind of sort of understand each other, you know, like little maybe like little chirps and everything. That's basically it. Unless they're using some sort of a weird version of Furbog where apparently if that's overpowered. I do not see it. Goliath, powerful build and Stone's endurance. Oh, God forbid Goliath really want to be able to reduce damage. Oh, God forbid they have this innate ability to be nice on brawny as stone. It's like their giant lineage is apparently a big factor that caused them to be banned or something. Who heard this DM? Kenko, expert forgery and mimicry. Lizardfolk, nature armor, bite attack, and cunning artisan. Yeah, okay, yeah, they're definitely using an older version of this stuff because I haven't seen cunning artisan in forever. But even then, it lets you just make a quick, like a bone shift, basically, like a bone spear. It's not like it's a magical item or anything crazy. You just literally make something out of makeshift out of bones, like a bone spear. Now you have a bone spear instead of a regular spear. Triton, control water, cold and fire resistance. They don't have fire resistance, at least not in 2014 version, the most up-to-date 2014 version of D&D. Githyanki, decent stats and martial. Decent stats and decent stats? Is it because they get what? Some extra +2, +1 and the right kind of things? Huh? Get Zerai psionics. Well, yeah, they kind of have psionics. It kind of makes sense. Githyanki and Zerai are kind of alien, sort of, so it makes sense. Kalashtar, Mind Link, and resistance to psychic damage. Tieflings get fire resistance. Tritons get cold resistance. Most really magically unique races sometimes get a special feature called air resistance, and at times that's really all they get as a major thing, maybe with some caveats on the side, but it's not like it's busted overpowered. Having psychic resistance, unless you're playing a game where you're going to be dealing with tons of mind flayers, they're going to be primarily doing psychic damage on you, I really don't see how that's going to be a bannable selection for player characters. Also, Mind Link, the very light, very simple telepathy, I think they kept the same telepathy since the original release, where it's just modded telepathy at like what, 30, 60 feet, but even then, it's so minuscule and so nonchalant that it's just, I don't see how this is a reason to ban it. Listen, I understand some people have their own restrictions, like certain things just don't fit in the universe, the theme, Githyanki, Zerai and stuff, I fully get. Tritons, fully sure, yeah, we'll do whatever you want, but this list is basically banning it because this feature apparently is overpowered or too strong or something about this feature that the DM for whatever reason just doesn't like. What kind of people they're playing with that made them hate these kind of features? Or this screams like the DM either had a horrible experience with the player abusing one of these features at some capacity, which I can't believe that all these features were abused in this specific scenario to be like a toxic trait, or this reads like somebody read on like our D&D Reddit or something saying how all these traits are super bad and toxic and shouldn't allow the players to do so, and then basically just ban them without even knowing what the hell the features are, because some of these features are so innocuous. Goliath having a powerful build is not a problem in the slightest. I have no idea how that's a problem. Oh, they can carry things a little bit more than others. That makes sense because they come from like the giant lineage. No wonder they would have a little bit more brawn to them and be able to carry things a little bit more, be able to just lift things more. That makes sense. How is that a reason to ban them? Changeling, shapeshifter, and deception abilities. That can be understandable, but really depends on your campaign. Warforged, immunity to poison, sleep and disease, self-repair. I'm done making side comments. Let's just finish this list before I talk about it. Satyr, magic resistance and charm resistance. Wow, it's as if they come from a Fey Wild, maybe have charm resistance. I don't see half elves or elves on this specific list dealing with this kind of stuff. Where are the elves and the half elves? Because Satyr apparently is a problem. Minotaur, horns attack and some resilience features. Centaur, charge attack and hooves. God forbid hooves. We can't have hooves in our campaign. Loxodon, natural armor and powerful build. There it is again. Leonin, temporary boost AC with their main. I don't remember them ever having that. Shifter, Beasthide, bonus HP and increased AC. Shifter, Longtooth, bite attack and increased damage. Shifter, Wild Hunt, advantage on tracking and some speed boost. Turtle, natural armor and retractable claws. Yeah, they have a giant shell on the back. What else are they gonna do? Not have armor? Tiefling, winged, infernal legacy and flight. What? Infernal what? I mean, unless they did something different with variant for tieflings with winged tieflings before in the past, I don't remember. I think, no, actually, if you want to play a variant tiefling with wings, I think you actually give up your infernal legacy. I'm pretty sure at least like in the most recent up-to-date tiefling variant, you actually need to give up your infernal legacy to be able to get wings. You give up a huge chunk of your regular tiefling aspect. This makes no sense and it's probably using some sort of older content and I don't know why. Tiefling feral, tail attack and other physical boosts. Tiefling Mephistopheles, I hope I pronounced it right. Innate spellcasting and bonus spells. Guess what? A lot of tiefling lineages are gonna have, every single old school tiefling lineage is gonna have bonus spells to it. Me, for example, as a default tiefling, I have Hellish Rebuke and Darkness, and that's what I have. I think I also have a cantrip. I think I have thaumaturgy. That's how I'm yelling so loud, because I'm casting thaumaturgy without realizing I'm casting thaumaturgy. Oh yeah, also at the end, anything that flies. Well, gee willikers, I gotta be honest, I've played on a game on a previous old server that I no longer play on. Quite a lot of restrictions. Maybe not this level of restrictions, but enough to make me want to kind of pull my hair out and be like, why can't I play a goblin? What's wrong with goblins? Why can't I play an orc? They're fine. Orcs are cool. Maybe I'm just crazy, or maybe I'm just a lunatic, but here it goes. I'm going to tell you my personal ban list for any kind of races or species or subspecies or whatever in my D&D games. No mark of from Eberron. That's it. That's literally it. Markov blah 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 basically gives it just like, I think, spells that you're just able to cast naturally. That's the only thing that I restrict, but otherwise it could be whatever you want. Original human, variant human, can be any kind of tiefling, including feral tiefling, any flavor and version of tiefling as well. You could be any kind of shifter, any kind of Aasimar, any Goliath. Just, you could be whatever you want at this point. I support third-party content as well, from like Humblefolk and Ryoko's and Heliana's Guide. I may be a little bit on the excessive side, but I think the option and variety is a spice of life, and I love when my players have a blast, whether they're playing a fairy druid, or they're playing a centaur druid, or they're playing a satyr druid. We have a lot of druids in the campaign now that I think about it. And by the way, I don't blame the DM or shame them for having things restricted. If it doesn't make sense in your homebrew world to have an Aarakocra, don't have an Aarakocra. If it doesn't make sense to have Aasimar, don't have Aasimar. Hell, tieflings, if it doesn't make sense to have it in your world, don't have tieflings, or homebrew your own races. That's completely fine. Do whatever you want to do. But to have this giant list of restrictions because of innate features that honestly in a big picture aren't that big of an issue, I think is ridiculous. Because some of them, sure, I understand there can be a little bit of a problem. Let's say, for example, bugbear or changeling, I can understand. Or maybe hell, Aarakocra, anything that flies. But in here, some of the stuff is just being completely put on the list, but I feel like either as a personal vendetta or because somebody on Reddit told them that's like, oh, this is really busted, you should not have in your game. It feels incoherent to be this restrictive, because it feels like you're just cherry picking some of the traits, or like as a personal vendetta. Like this is someone's crap list that they put together of things of different races and species that slighted them or something. But the story is not over there. There's still a lot more to this. Let's continue. Okay, so it looks like the guy wants to mostly keep the races to their player handbook. Some weird choices though, like saying a Kenku is somehow bad because of their mimicry when it's literally how they communicate with each other is a choice. Also, I checked. Leonin don't get an AC boost from their main. Their claws do give a boost to their strength mod though. It doesn't end there though. I shrugged, giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, and scrolled down more, only to find a list titled Banned Classes. Oh, starting off strong. Twilight Domain Cleric provides powerful defense and healing abilities. I've been told a lot about how Twilight Domain Cleric is probably the most powerful domain possible. And at first I was like, nah, it's whatever. It's probably still balanced. And then I had a session just the other day where my players were part of the Adventurers Guild and they were helping out a different branch of Adventurers Guild. And on there, I made one of the NPCs a Twilight Domain Cleric because I thought, well, you know, it's kind of cool. Just rolled in the table and the number came out. I'm like, okay, let's make him Twilight Domain. Sure. And boy, howdy dowdy, Twilight Domain Clerics are great at support. I don't think it's that bad, but also I kind of balanced a lot of my combats around what my current party is doing and the current setup they got going on to kind of give them a little bit of a challenge. So I don't know, maybe I'm just doing a lot of legwork to make Twilight Domain a little bit more manageable. I don't know. Like, yeah, Twilight Domain is pretty strong. I don't have like a balance issue with it personally myself. I think it's actually kind of cool. I think it's neat to have like a really supportive channel divinity option like that. I think it's really neat. Divine Soul Sorcerer combines the versatility of sorcerer with cleric spells. People tell me it's really bad and not that intuitive or enjoyable, but I kind of want to try it, dude. I kind of want to try it for myself. Coffee Lock, Warlock Sorcerer combination. Uses short rest to convert warlock spells, slots 2 sorcery points, and that creates a sorcerer spell slot without the long rest level of exhaustion. Yeah, I could see how Coffee Lock or some sort of like a cheesy multi-class build can be pretty annoying, so I don't mind somebody banning like a multi-class build. But there's more, guys, there's more. Hexblade Warlock, a subclass that allows charisma for melee attacks. Make it for potent Gish. Spell Sword. I take it personally because I'm a Hexblade, but let's move on. Lore Bard combines skill versatility with magical support. Shepherd Druid, summoning and buffing abilities. What else are they gonna do? Okay, this list is already giving me conniptions. I'm gonna just try to go on as best as I can, just hold my tongue as much as I can. Battle Master Fighter, superior combat maneuvers. Okay, Hold on, that did not, first of all, funny enough, that did not last long, but also, you banning Battlemaster Fighter? Battlemaster is like the most iconic, versatile, and probably one of the most useful, if not the most picked fighter subclasses, because it is extremely good, extremely customizable. You get to pick up really cool maneuvers that specifically enhance and establish your role in the party. If Life Cleric is not on the list, I'm actually going to be extremely pissed, because I feel like it's a very picky, choosy list of like, oh, I don't want my players to be that powerful, except specific things that I want to be powerful. I'm not saying Life Cleric is going to be like the most powerful in anything, but I mean, at this point, if you're putting arbitrary things in ridiculous list like this, you know, Life Cleric feels like it belongs on a list now. Moon Druid, powerful wild shape options. Nobody tell Mary about this list. She's gonna be pissed. Sun Soul Monk, range attack capabilities for traditionally melee focus. Have you ever seen Sun Soul Monk? They don't do a lot of damage. Yeah, they have some range and it looks a little bit like a Super Saiyan blasting from range, but like their damage capabilities from range are extremely minuscule, oh, God forbid, my Sun Soul Monk can do 1d4 damage at 3rd or 4th level for a bit. Gloomstalker Ranger, enhanced stealth and combat abilities. Well, I guess now we're taking away all the fun then, might as well. Sorlock, Sorcerer Warlock combination, combines the best of both spellcasting worlds. Conquest Paladin, strong crowd control and fear effects. Oath of Ancient Paladin, resilient tank with anti-magic aura. Resilient Barbarian, near immortal tanking capabilities. Are you talking about their feature, the level 14 feature that basically doesn't let them die immediately, or are you talking about something else entirely? Eldritch Knight Fighter combines martial prowess with arcane spellcasting. With how limited their spellcasting is, how is that on a ban list? It's so limited, it's so minuscule. It's the same. Oh, please don't tell me Arcane Trickster's on this list too. Assassin Rogue, high burst damage potential. Arcane Trickster Rogue combines rogue sneakiness with spellcasting. Oh, God forbid you have a rogue that can do Mage Hand, be able to pickpocket with Mage Hand. Drake Warden Ranger summons and bonds with Dragonlink companions. So we just taken everything fun from Ranger then. Wonderful, fantastic. Abjuration Wizard, exceptional defense against spell damage. Evocation Wizard, high damage output of spells. Shadow Sorcerer, strong survivability and crowd control. Ancestral Guardian Barbarian, protects allies by redirecting damage. Divination Wizard, ability to influence outcomes by manipulating dice rolls. Oathbreaker Paladin, strong offense capabilities and necrotic damage. Swashbuckler Rogue, superior dueling capabilities. Tempest Cleric, deals heavy damage and controls the battlefield. Valor Bard, combines bardic inspiration with martial abilities. If Sword Bard is not on there, I'm gonna be pissed. Blade Singer Wizard, melee combat combined with arcane prowess. Celestial Warlock combines healing with range. I can't see with the text because it's covered by the stupid Reddit thing. Necromancer Wizard controls undead and deals with necrotic damage. This list is extremely picky choosy because some of the things you see here, you know what you don't see? Warlock of the Fiend. Warlock of the Fiend is pretty darn strong, pretty darn powerful. They have some really good spells, fire-specific spells, demonic-specific spells, and it works really well with them. This, for whatever reason, choose to place Celestial Warlock on now, but not Fiend, not Undead, even though it's really freaking powerful. You can build some really cool things for it. Puts Hexblade on there, but not the other ones. It puts Valor Bard here, but not Swords Bard. Maybe I'm just missing something out. Maybe this DM is instead a hidden genius, or they're just really bitter over something, or you know what this reads? This reads very much like somebody on Reddit made a complaint. Valor Bard is too strong, Swashbuckler Rogue is too strong, Abjuration Wizard is too strong, Eldritch Knight Fighter is too strong, and this DM literally took everything to heart and was like, okay, ban all these things that I saw on Reddit, and there we go, that's my list, because I can't trust my players and I can't learn anything about these subclasses to realize that they're actually not that bad whatsoever if you just give players a chance. I understand things like Coffee Lock, or maybe Tempest Cleric, or Twilight Cleric and stuff, or specific cheesy multi-classes, or Gloomstalker. I can completely understand that. They can be very exploitative if put in the right position. But to ban the rest of these, did these subclasses all walk over there and just like steal and hide the DM's puppy somewhere in the woods, never to be seen again? There's more. There's a lot more. Before we continue, there's a lot more. Let's go back to the story. This is where the benefit ended and started scratching my head. Sorlock, Coffeelock, and Hexblade, sure, I get it. But he has basically banned about 20% of the 100-something subclasses in D&D. Roughly, not a math person. Mind you, hasn't noted down anything about artificers or blood hunters, but most of these are in the player handbook or Xanathars, with the rest being from Sword Coast Adventurers Guide or Tasha's, or the Dungeon Master Guide for Oathbreaker Paladin. And it just feels weirdly specific, especially when you can essentially boil this reason down to too much damage or too much CC. God forbid a subclass has some kind of utility, huh? God forbid a subclass is built for specific damage, utility, support, or anything, huh? I'm surprised that Life Cleric is not on there. I'm surprised that the subclasses in general aren't just straight up banned. At this point, I feel like this DM just wants to play people playing class that has no subclass at this point, because anything that has any kind of semblance of any utility or support or crowd control or even remotely decent damage and stuff, for whatever reason, is just out the window, just completely out, which is insane. It's absolutely nuts. I don't like, okay, with some, like I said, there's nothing wrong if you want to have a specific like ban list for some of this stuff, right? I get it. You don't want every ranger to be a Gloomstalker ranger. It might be good to have a little bit more variety, so you don't have like, you know, 6 Gloomstalker rangers in your entire campaign or whatever. But at the end of the day, this list is egregious. It takes out any of the fun stuff or interesting stuff that honestly feels extremely innocuous. Then we have the banned spells list. Okay, I will be pretty fair. The list starts kind of okay. We have banned spells, silvery barbs. If you've ever seen silver barbs or have played with people who use silver barbs real often, I'm not gonna blame you. Wish, questionable since it's like monkey paw. I think it's cool narratively. True polymorph, okay. Simulacrum, power word kill, meteor swarm, feeble mind, time stop, mass suggestion, force cage, imprisonment, dominate monster, invulnerability, shape change, Mordecai's magnificent mansion. I've never seen anybody use this like literally ever. Maybe it's one of the most overpowered ones out there, but I've never seen anybody use this. Teleport, clone, etherealness, plane shift, foresight, gate, delayed blast, fireball when combined with certain strategies, sunburst, disintegrate, magic jar, power word stun, autos irresistible dance, that's a new one, never heard of that, prismatic spray, anti-magic field, and regenerate can be very potent in the right circumstance. You had me with silvery barbs and you had me at wish. The rest of these spells I feel like are a higher level spell that most games really don't see unless you're playing at higher level games. But even then, the drawback usually with them, if I remember correctly, when I was looking up force cage, it was the force cage or something else, but it costs like some insane amount of item that needs to be sacrificed or used in order to be able to even cast this spell. There's a big drawback and a big pull or push with some of these more powerful spells, which is understandable. They have unique conditions. I think maybe this DM just doesn't want to play high level games. Now that I think about it, the spell list is really inconsistent. I would think this DM would also have things like counterspell or dispel magic on there or detect magic, because apparently it's too powerful for furbolgs to be able to have detect magic. I'm honestly genuinely surprised and baffled. And listen, I understand silver barbs. I understand sometimes it can be a little bit annoying and stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't mind if my players grab silver barbs, because that's yet another way for them to spend the resource. It's a way for our players to be able to use those spell slots, or if you're using a variant system like a Chad like me, the spell slots, and just rename it to the mana system in your VTT Foundry so everybody can just have mana pools, because it sounds cool. And that's an easy way for them to spend a resource particularly, as well as spend their reaction. Like I said, I don't have a problem if you want to ban some particular spells, content, whatever. Ban whatever you need to ban and make sure you like only have things available that are available. I understand that everybody wants to deal with counterspell. I understand that everybody wants to deal with opportunity attack. I understand that everybody wants to deal with Aarakocra's fly speed or change to be able to shapeshift into literally whoever they want to. But I feel like a lot of these patterns and choices that most DMs make that kind of make the campaign and shape the campaign in such a way, it's a smart decision that basically helps flesh things out properly and accordingly in order to make sure that everybody can have a fair and balanced way to play together, or at least to help establish the fantasy that the homebrew world is all about. But this has the energy of a DM that put a blindfold on and just throw in darts at the board to see which one would land, or just taking personal vendettas against specific spells. I showed this to my current DM and even he was scratching his head. In his experience, most of these spells aren't typical ones a player takes anyway, save for about a handful. Silver barbs and Mordecai's magnificent mansion? Given the setting, that's understandable. But to my immediate recollection, most of these are 6th level spells, and if you're axing super powerful spells like those, then you're around level 11 in Bard, Sorcerer, or Wizard, and probably expecting to fight the Abrahamic God at the climax of the campaign. Some of these spells are more like random bullcrap and the DM can pull for the sake of creating tension during a scene. Needless to say, I didn't end up throwing my name in the hat for this campaign, and I haven't seen the dude on Roll20 since. My current group encouraged me to post the screenshot here for others to enjoy, but I'm mostly putting this here for the sake of discussion, which I hope is allowed. I don't know, it was just weird to see. And everyone I've spoken about it with agrees that it's strange. What do you guys think? I could be in the minority, and let me know if I am, honestly, but I think this list is kind of hella restrictive. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it, there's no pattern specifically for it or anything. It just feels extremely restrictive for the sake of being restrictive, or maybe because the DM is just afraid of these spells and subclasses for whatever reason. Somebody on Reddit make a list of like, this subclass is bad, that race is bad because it's flies and stuff. This spell's too powerful because silvery barbs makes you reroll for your bad guys and stuff, so they can't hit your players as often or whatever, and are more likely to miss and give advantage to them. So therefore you shouldn't have this thing banned. It feels like it's like a, not a pattern to it, but almost like a personal vendetta, like someone's crap list. That's basically what it feels like. I want to use a different word, but YouTube and stuff, but it feels like someone's personal vendetta crap list to basically just take out the games because maybe they had a horrible experience with it. I don't know. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to is maybe I'm in the minority of things, but I don't usually like to restrict a lot of things to other players. I understand if somebody does, but usually there's a pattern to it, like specific reason of ASMRs don't exist in my world, or tieflings don't exist in my world, or Arakocra are flightless birds because they were cursed by a air god or something and they can't fly anymore. But maybe that becomes a story piece for an Arakocra player that regains the flight by achieving divinity as like a paladin or sorcerer or something. Who knows? But anyway, let me know what you think about this story here. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Oh my god, we've been recording for a while. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. We'll be back to more RPG horror stories in a bit. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.